Hey, everybody. Whitney here with a Divine Feminine solo episode where I help offer guidance, insight, tips on how to work with and hone and connect with your innate Divine Feminine abilities. Today's episode is inspired by one of my lovely listeners who suggested this topic, which is listening to your intuition and how to know the difference between your ego and your intuition, anxiety and your intuition, fear and your intuition, because those are all very different things. Your intuition speaks truth. It's not based in fear, it's based in love and truth. Anxiety is based in fear. Ego is based in fear. It's based in the understanding that we are our bodies, therefore we have to preserve ourselves and protect ourselves at all costs. Our ego is based not only in the body safety, but also emotional safety. So it's going to say, you need to look a certain way, you need to act a certain way, you need to be worried and aware of how other people respond to you because we got to keep ourselves safe. Your intuition is based in love, which knows that you are always safe all the time, eternally, perfect, complete, whole, always. So how do we move into that vibration, into that space, into that channel of connecting with our deep wisdom, guidance, our intuition? So first I'll start by indicating what intuition is not. Intuition, in my opinion, and of course I want to preface this by saying these are my thoughts. You can hear a lot of different schools of thought around what intuition is and how to follow it. I can speak from my experience and what my intuition tells me about it. For me, intuition is not forceful. I've spoken to this on many episodes, but I wanted to really kind of seal it and present it in a more pristinely packaged way in this episode. And I want to say that when it's ego, when it's fear, it can feel forced, right? It's that voice that yells at you. Intuition does not yell. That's what I have come to understand and believe, because intuition is coming from the part of you that has nothing to prove. Your intuition only wants to offer you the highest good, that which is pure love, pure trust, pure truth. Therefore, why would it have any need to push something or force something on you? Again, other people might argue about this. I'm just saying my experience. When I've had that chattering voice that says, no, don't do this. You shouldn't do this. I sometimes think like, oh, that might not be the right thing. Some people will say that the first thought that you have is the right thought. But I'll tell you, so many times, my first thought has been fear. My first thought has been eagle. Interesting. I said eagle instead of ego. Maybe look out for an eagle. Maybe an eagle is your spirit animal right now, which is gorgeous because an eagle is all about taking flight and soaring in your power. Just a little side note about the spirit animal of eagle. Your ego is going to want to scare you in a way. It's going to want to threaten you with fear. Don't do this. This is bad. Your intuition doesn't know anything about bad. It just knows about what you're asking for and what to offer to guide you to it. In my experience, your intuition is gentle. It's kind. It's soft. I just spoke about this on an episode of the one about connecting with your inner adolescent with Holly McLean. Your intuition is almost just like this breeze that comes through. Again, soft, gentle, never yelling, just sort of offering, saying, yes, saying, go there. I'm maybe whispering too low and you can't hear me. But okay, so let's look at that. If you weigh them on either hand, on one side, you have your fearful ego. On the other, you have your loving intuition. One is more forceful because it's coming from a place of fear. It's coming from ego, which the ego has to defend its existence. So it will often be very forceful and try to prove and push things because it wants to show and prove that it exists. The intuition is coming from your everlasting soul, from your deep, deep body of wisdom. that has infinite knowledge, not only of this quote unquote present moment, there's only one moment, the eternal moment of now, but it is aware of so many different things. And it's just wanting to show you the truth of the matter that you're inquiring about. If you've been praying to the skies every night, oh, I really just want to find peace and security. I've been so stressed. I've been so anxious. I can't sleep. I'm worried how things are going to work out. Your intuition will be that guiding voice that will offer something very gently that you could do to get those things. Your ego and your anxiety is that voice that's going to say, well, you shouldn't have done this. And you should, if you hear shoulds, that's a great sign that's coming from your ego. Again, your intuition is never going to make commands. It will make offerings. Your intuition is never going to try to force anything. It will gently offer, like a breeze coming through, like a slow moving stream. It will just come right by your ear and whisper some information. I've had these experiences a lot. It's called clairaudience. If you haven't listened to my solo episode on the clairs, so psychic abilities, psychic senses, check that one out, that solo episode. Clairaudience is when you hear things. And there have been a handful of times in my life, some people have clairaudience all day long. Also want to note that clairaudience and your intuition can come from other people. Be open to receiving guidance, because your intuition can speak through other people by having a brief conversation with somebody who tells you information that feels strikingly appropriate and aligned in that moment. Your intuition doesn't always have to come, and that clair psychic ability doesn't always have to come directly from you. It can come from a song, right? It is more what we would call clairaudience, but it still is part of this whole bigger thing called your intuition, which is just your deep wisdom and understanding and sense of everything around you. So that's the biggest way to understand the two. One is coming from fear and one is coming from love. Consider the components of fear: forceful, angry, trying to prove or disprove something, worried about the outcome. Intuition is coming from love, so it's gentle. It has nothing to prove. It could care less about the outcome except trying to offer you what you've stated that you are seeking, the way that you want to go. It's like asking the universe for directions. Hey, how do I get to this, to this store in town? And they're trying to offer it to you. So you say, I want to find true love. And they're going to offer you some intuitive guidance on that. But it will be gentle. It will not be forceful. It will not be commanding, because it's coming from your own heart. It's coming from the softest place of yourself, the place that is free of ego, the place that isn't looking for these things to feed your insecurities or your doubts or, again, your ego. It's just coming from a place of wholeness and truth. One is gentle, one is loud and forceful. One is very quiet and peaceful, not making commands. So let me give you an example of what I've experienced. Sometime I'll be sitting there and I'll say, okay, I really don't know how to make this decision. This person reached out, they want to reconnect, and I just don't know. I don't know the right thing to do. And I'll hear like, no. It could be that not doing it is in my best interest. But when I hear that sort of chattering, powerful, repetitive, I know that I need to just move forward, just kind of let that go. And I need to still myself and quiet myself. So now we're going to kind of get into ways to be able to connect with your intuition. Get into your stillness. Find a way to see in a space, in a place where you feel most disconnected from the ego. Right? So that's maybe not a place where you're feeling worked up, you're feeling emotional, you're feeling confused. Wait till those times where, those times, maybe it's after like a nice walk outside or a really good workout or a restful sleep first thing in the morning, where you feel, okay, I feel most calm. I'm just going to ask, and I'm going to see if I feel or receive any guidance. And if it feels like a gentle voice, if it feels like a gentle sentence introduced to you, that's usually our intuition talking to us. Now, this has been more about talking, right? Speaking, hearing things. Of course, intuition can be felt in many different ways. It's not always just guidance, like the clairaudience. It's also a feeling, which you can call clairsentience. That's clear feeling. That's a psychic ability to understand things through feeling, to sense the environment around you through feeling. Your intuition comes primarily from your soul, from your highest guidance. And that can just be a feeling. It doesn't have to be a statement. A really powerful practice of intuition is to just state something and see how you feel with it. If you're wondering whether or not to take a job, I spoke about this in the Claire's episode, state out loud, say, I'm going to take this job, and then see, how do you feel? Did you get a knot in your stomach? Do you feel at peace? If you have a knot in your stomach and you feel nauseous and you feel like cringy, clenched, stressed, that's a guidance from your intuition saying, this might not be what you want. When you're about to go into a certain situation and you get that nudge that's like, something doesn't feel right. Maybe I don't want to go. That's your intuition saying, I sense something. In truth, there is no time. Time doesn't exist. So future and present is all here. So intuition is that higher part of ourselves that doesn't live in time, space, the way that we do on the earth. It lives in the higher space that can see everything. So it's kind of just showing you like, hey, this is maybe not going to feel so great or result in something so great. So just be aware of that. But again, it's going to be gentle. It's not going to scream at you. For some people, it might. Maybe some people have gotten guidance from screaming. I will say that I've had strong voices. I wouldn't call it forceful, but strong intuition that comes through. But I think that's different than trying to force something on you, or it's coming through loud and clear. So to review a little bit, the difference between ego and intuition. Ego is trying to prove something. It will get aggressive. It will get loud. It will sound forceful. It will sound like a command, and it will come from a place of fear. You better not do this. You know what happened last time. You're not good enough for this. Don't do it. This is going to be bad, bad, bad. If it's threatening you, that is your ego. Your soul would never threaten you. It would always just ever so gently offer to you, is this what you really want? Maybe don't go. This is not going to happen. I had gentle intuition with before in dating situations where someone was telling me that they wanted to come visit me and come see me. And so gently, I got this message that said, they're not going to come. And they didn't come. And it's because Spirit sees things. Spirit sees conversations that we don't see. I remember listening once that said, listening to a reading once that was saying, you know, the phrase rejection is protection. And that when somebody leaves your life or when something ends, it's often because Spirit can see the conversations that you don't see, the things that they say about you or your relationship or your connection that you don't know about, that Spirit is saying, you deserve so much better. You deserve so much than how they speak of you when you're not around. We don't get to know that because we're in the physical realm, having this human experience limited to our individual selves until we tap strongly into our psychic abilities and our intuition. So it can be that gentle. It can be, you know, an offering of information or an offering of guidance, but it's your choice whether to take it. So fear versus love is how it comes through. And then how to tap in, how to get it into that space where we can most easily hear our intuition more powerfully than our ego. Because again, the ego is forceful. So you're going to hear it more strongly. It's going to be banging at the door. It's going to be yelling at you. So you got to dip into that space of greater peace, greater stillness to allow for your intuition. Because again, your intuition is not forceful. It's not going to try to fight your ego. It isn't. It's our job to quiet the ego. That is our job on this planet while we're here, while we're having this physical experience of being a human being that requires an ego to exist. If we didn't have an ego, we would never think of ourselves as a separate autonomous being from everything else. We'd still feel completely connected and just a part of the whole, which is what we ultimately are. But we chose to come here to have the unique experience of being autonomous, this own human. Look at me, I'm Whitney. I'm my own little thing. I'm my own little expression. How fun. What a fun little trick we're playing. We need an ego. However, our egos have gotten way out of hand. They run the show predominantly in this life experience. So we need to get into a space where we feel most connected. Some people call it your higher self, your soul, connected in your heart space. Any of those things, that's referring to your soul, to your calmer self. So what we want to do is we want to find the space that works. Find the space. Again, maybe it's when you first wake up, maybe it's right before bed, maybe it's out in nature where you have a still moment and you can commune with your soul, with your intuition. Because again, your intuition is just another word for the voice of your soul. Okay, I hope this is helpful. I hope that offered to you the difference between your ego and your intuition and how to connect with your intuition, how to listen to it. It can offer you so many beautiful things. We can start to use it as our true guidance system, how to lead ourselves into the life that we dream of, into the highest vision that we have for ourselves. That's all that our soul and our intuition ever wants for us. So again, that's why it will always come from kindness. Even if it's something you don't want to hear, like again, that voice telling me he's not going to come. He's not going to come see you. He doesn't, but it's not going to tell me what the ego was, which is he doesn't care about you. He doesn't love you. He doesn't like you. That's why he's not coming. It just tells me, hey, he's not going to. And I then get to take it and say, yeah, he's probably not, because he probably just doesn't care. He might not care enough. And I want to wait for somebody who really cares about me. I want to spend my time. And what's interesting is I've gotten that message a few times when dating, but it was only with people that I had really gone through the ringer with a few times. So it's like my soul was like, all right, well, we don't want to tell you what to do, but we're kind of feeling you're stuck here. So we're going to give you a little bit of guidance and insight into this one so you can move on because you deserve it. Okay, so the powerful thing that is your intuition. It is your innate ability and your innate right to be able to use it and connect with it and trust it. It can be very hard to trust anything in this life, but something you can trust is your higher self, your intuition, if we are able to separate it from that loud. And we gotta, think of the ego as like that one friend that's always like hyper aware of like, oh, well, this could go wrong and this, and you're like, okay, I get you. I know you're worried, but it's okay. We have to tell our ego to quiet down. Like I said, it's our job in this lifetime to tame our ego and not let it rule our life like this, big old powerful lion who's trying to be hyper vigilant all the time and scare us. And it's not trying to harm us. It's just trying to protect us, but it's gotten too protective. The best thing we can do is connect with our gentle intuition that's going to offer gentle guidance and let us make the decision. The ego wants to make the decision. Keep that in mind. Again, the ego is going to sound like that overbearing friend that wants to tell us what to do. The intuition is going to sound like maybe a therapist or that kind, loving friend who offers sage wisdom, but isn't going to try and tell you what you should or you're supposed to do. They're going to let you make the choice, but just offer the information that they have, the guidance they have to help you do so. Okay, now I'm really done. Oh, but first, talking of intuition, this is the Divine Feminine episode. So I'm going to offer a tarot card. I always pull either a tarot or oracle card for my Divine Feminine. And perfect to do this when talking about intuition, because tarot is all about being intuitive, developing your intuitive powers. There's another thing in working with your intuition, trusting your intuition. You can work with divination tools, things like tarot, right? Things like tarot or pendulums or anything that helps you to be reading energy. what tarot really is it's just a channel. It's just a conduit for your intuition. And every single reader is going to interpret cards differently, right? Because they're following their intuition. It's not just about what card comes up, it's about the messages that they receive. So that's a great thing to play around with, because then it's not so, it's more objective rather than subjective, right? When you're, let's say you're like pulling cards and just asking about like, what is today going to be like? That's a little bit subjective because you're going to be thinking about your day. But you could ask about like a bigger situation, right? Like, what is this job? What would this job be like if I took it? And pull a card and say, oh, wow, I got this card. What comes to me? What's the first message that comes to me? What are the thoughts? What's the feeling I have associated with this card? These can be great tools to tap into your intuition. So tarot cards, oracle cards, pendulum work, energy work, even just playing around with all of that helps you realize what a powerful channel you are and what powerful access you have to this information. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do a little thing where I'm going to pull a card and I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to give you a second to sit with it before I give you my interpretation. So let's see what card wants to come out for the collective for their highest good and greatest guidance for the collective. I'm actually going to go ahead and just pull one. I think that's what my intuition is telling me. See, there you go. It's saying, don't wait for it to flip out. Just pull one. That's going to be the best way to do it. Okay, so we'll do 1, 2. All right. So I got the 8 of Pentacles. So I'm going to hold it up and take a second. On the 8 of Pentacles, it has 8. This card has 8 little sand dollars on it, and then a beautiful gold, almost like ribbon coming through it. And pentacles are all about our sort of our worldly. It's like the earth. So in tarot, well, I need to do a whole episode on tarot, don't I? Kind of break down the 411 for tarot. There are 4 suits with different meanings. The Pentacles is the one that deals with earthly stuff. So it's the earth sign. There's earth, fire, water, air in the tarot. This is the earth suit, the suit of earth. So it's about your family, your work, your relationships, your finances. So again, this world stuff. So just take a moment to sit with that. 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Earth. What comes to you? What do you think of before I offer my reading and what I think the message is for the collective based on this card? So just take a second. 8 of Pentacles. If you're watching this, then you can look at it and just kind of see what comes to you. Okay. So now I'll give my interpretation, what my intuition is telling me. So it's funny because the 8 of Pentacles is all about mastering your craft. And guess what we're talking about on this episode? Mastering your intuition, right? Becoming the master of the craft of intuition, which is the best craft because it requires nothing, right? It doesn't require buying an instrument or going to the hobby store, unless you're going to go buy some tarot cards. But you can just sit with yourself and begin to master and practice your intuition. And that's what this is encouraging. And what I'm getting, the information I'm getting, the intuition I'm getting is for everyone listening, and for so many, this is the greatest pursuit and craft that we can master at this time, because what we need now more than ever is people to trust themselves more and to look to themselves for wisdom and information rather than outside of themselves, which makes them vulnerable to being coerced or deceived. I don't want to say that that's all that there is out there, but there's a lot of that, a lot of messaging that has different alternative motives behind it. So tap into your intuition, master that craft, work with it every day. It can be so little, it can be 2 minutes a day. Just finding a peaceful space to just say, what do I feel? Do I hear any messages? Again, you got to listen to my Claire's episode, because that's going to, all of those are part of intuition. Am I hearing something? Am I feeling something? Am I seeing something in my mind's eye? It goes on. Do I have a strong knowing about something? So 8 of Pentacles. Let's all start to master this craft, shall we? Because also, here's another thing. There's unique information from the universe that can only come through you. That's why you came here. We all came here to help. There's a beautiful quote that says, oh, you came to the space to heal the space. We're here to help heal and evolve. And the more that we attune ourselves with our intuition, the greater a channel we have to that greater wisdom, greater knowledge, greater understanding. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. Please come back again.